Hey y'all, we're gonna go through some crazy real estate math today, and I'm gonna show you how with a 5% down payment, $40,000, you can live for about $1,200 a month right now in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit for about 1,000 square feet. But in 8 years, this will pay for itself. In 15 years, it'll make you an additional $1,500 a month. And in 15 years, the asset should about double in size as well. Stick with me because today we're talking real estate math. Before we do, like and subscribe so you don't miss it when we have these conversations. I'm Chris Evans, former stockbroker turned real estate broker. And today I want to talk about a unique investment that we have. It's a property type. Now I've got a few of these, so it's been a while since I've had a quad. I wanted to talk about how quads work as real estate investments. And I'm going to use some pretty similar numbers to a real world example that we have as one of our listings right now, just to demonstrate how real estate can impact your finances forever. Before I talk about this, there's something that we have to go through. And I call it the rule of 75. In our book, From the Ground Up, we detail in depth how mortgage companies use rental income as additional funds for you or I to qualify for a mortgage. The best way I can describe this is after we had owned our first home, and we wanted to buy a second one. But I didn't make enough money at the time to qualify for, an extra $1,500 a month in debt payments because we had one house. So I talked to one of my lenders one time, and as I'm picking his brain, I'm saying, "Hey man, how do investors buy multiple homes? How do people buy multiple homes?" He goes, "Well, they rent them out. And then I can count 75% of that rent as income to offset debt." I'm like, wait, so this ends up just being like the math that we learned in grade school, right? Numerators and denominators. Up top, we've got 75% of our rent amount. On the bottom, we've got our mortgage payment. And if we can get 75% of our rent to be the same as our mortgage payment, then that just crosses each other out and we're done. And that's exactly how it works. So easy math, our first rental, it was close to $1,000 a month. Our mortgage payment was about $750. So if you read the book, you'll know in depth, but it's close. So we're using it for math. But when I take 75% of 1,000, that's $750. Well, our mortgage payment's $750. So if I have that and I show it to the lender basically says, "Okay, Chris, that mortgage is now no longer factored in for your qualifications. We can go back to you qualifying just based off of your income without the debt there." And that's exactly how this works. So fast forward to our conversation today. We're talking about a quadruplex. A quadruplex is one building with 4 individual units inside of it, designated as apartments because the building is owned by one owner, typically. So in the quadruplex, owner-occupant financing is for 1 to 4 unit homes. So the same type of financing that you get, this is mortgage stuff. So the same mortgage that you get when you're buying your home for your family can be applied to a quadruplex when you are going to live in one of those units. So fun fact, this is one of the ways that you can combine the rule of 75 along with qualifying for a mortgage in one place. And you could do it right off the bat. the way that this works out is that for the first year, or for the first 8 years, the homeowner is going to start out paying about $1,200 a month to live there. But every year, the homeowner's costs go down, and every year, because the rental income goes up. So without any other changes, on a fixed rate mortgage, 5% down, you can have a declining payment. This is where it gets interesting. In 8 years, you break even. So it starts at about $1,250 a month. Now, this is not including annual maintenance on the building. You're still liable for that, but we'll talk in depth. The house itself is going to be break even at year 8. At 15 years, you're making an additional $1,500 a month, and the market value of that property has doubled. So you've made your initial purchase back. You haven't paid a mortgage payment with your own funds in 7 years, and you've had a declining payment the entire time you've been there. So we're going to talk about how this works. And I've got some screenshots from my Evans Report financing or analysis software, my magic Excel book that I use, and I detail it out in the book, how I use my Evans Report to analyze investment deals and project cash flow into the future based off of historic conservative numbers. So we're going to go through some math. Here's how this works. Purchase price, call it $800,000. So your down payment, you've got to have 40 grand saved up. That's your down payment. There are other costs that go in here as well, so make sure you set a margin. But for math, I'm showing you how this works. So we're at $800K. Our down payment is going to be $40K, 5%. So that means we're going to have a loan of $760K. That $760K is going to factor down to approximately $5,200 per month. Ballpark, okay? It's real close, but easy math. I want you all to follow along. This is YouTube. $5,200 a month. You or I, most likely, are not in a position to pay $5,200 a month, especially if we're going to be living in a 1,000 square foot apartment for a few years at least. We'll talk about that too. Here are the numbers. We have one vacant unit. It has to be a vacant unit because in order for it to be owner-occupant financing, you have to live there. But if you're in a position where you're starting out, you don't need a lot of space, and you have family that wants to help you start up, then this is the way. I'm telling you. Here's numbers. These are actual numbers. We have one unit that's rented at $1,250 per month. We have one that's renting at $1,545. We have one that's renting for $1,220. These are your neighbors. It's a quadruplex. We have 3 units that are rented. These leases are in place. These leases are basically going to give you 75% of this rent. Now this rent comes out to $4,015 a month. We don't get to count $4,015 a month for qualifying, but we get $4,015 per month. That's our cash flow. So for qualifying, it's going to give us $3,011 per month in income. $3,011. So our payment is $5,200. We're getting income off of this for $3,011. So the difference here is what I have to personally qualify for with my income. I have to personally be able to guarantee that difference in order to qualify for this mortgage. So that means I'm going to be so 2189, and 2189 is what a lot of people can qualify for. That puts it back into play. So if my payment is $21.89, that's under $2,200 a month, I can qualify that, making $60,000 a year if I don't have too much debt. That's what we're talking about. That's the magic number here. So if we can afford this, but then the property itself is going to gift us that much in qualifying debt based off of the revenue here, this puts us into serious contention to make this a viable investment, right? So once we have figured out if it's a viable, we're gonna look at this in terms of actual cash flow outlays, okay? Because so we need to generally be able to qualify for a $2,200 a month mortgage. The mortgage companies, they'll tell you you're going to need at least a 620 FICO. The better your FICO, if it's over 720 or 750, you're going to get top tier rates. That's where you want to be. And then your 5% down with the MI is going to get you right around the same rate that you would get if it was a 20% down. So you can save that additional capital. Instead of coming out of pocket $200,000, you can come out of pocket $40,000. Geez, mental math brain break. Sorry. Okay, so now we know we need to qualify for about $2,200 a month. We know our payment is actually about $5,200 a month. But we're making $4,015 per month on this property. That's the revenue. So we're going to plug in so 5,200 minus 4,000. That's going to be 1,185. This is our out-of-pocket cost the first year per month. Now that's our break-even number. You're self-managing this property. And that's probably pretty easy to do for the first few years. Or you can pay the additional, and that way you don't have to have your neighbors knowing that you own the building. So, once you have $1,185, or you can always say that you're being paid to manage and collect the rents. So either way, you don't have to let them know that you're the owner. $1,185, that's our monthly out-of-pocket if we self-manage. Now, I said that this goes down every year, right? So here, we're going to take a look at my screen. So we've got our numbers right here. And if you see, we're starting out right around $4,000 here. This is our revenue. It's coming in directly from the tenants. And now it's under $4,000 because my system factors in cost of property management, and it also factors in a reserve account for property maintenance. So we're at about $3,800 per month right here coming in. And then this is going to slowly creep up. And by the end of May of 2026, we're at $4,000. That's our revenue. We're gonna hit the approximate 5,000 mark in 2033, or 2032 to 2033, right in here. So about 8 years. Now that at that mark, the revenue from the building is substantial enough that it is adding additional capital to your bank account every month. So every month the rents have gone up, and every month that money's getting more and more coming in. Now it's grown to the point where it is fully covering your debt service on the property. Now that's presuming as well that you do not refi as rates continue to drop. There's other ways that you can pull more money out of real estate. Now it's going to continue to go up. So now after 2032 into 2033, you're going to be in a position where every month you're getting additional cash flow coming in to help with the bills. It's only 8 years away. At about November of 2038, when we hit that $6,000 a month mark. So at $6,000 a month, not only is the building paid for, it's paying for itself. It is generating you an additional $1,800 a month to supplement your income. Continue. And now if I go to 2038, down on my market value of holdings chart, in 2038, the value of this property has surpassed $1.7 million. And our original purchase price was $800,000. So the property now we're 15 years in. It broke even at year 8. So at year 15, it has been paying for itself. And now it has also doubled its value from market appreciation, more than doubled its value. We bought it for $800,000. It's worth $1.7. So it is appreciated by $900,000, and it's only going to continue to go up. I would put my family through this. I did put my family through stuff like this. We moved a lot starting out, and we did a lot of projects ourselves. And because of that, we're here. This doesn't involve moving a lot, so you can set roots. There's lots of growth happening in these areas, but $900,000 in appreciation, and all I've done is maintain this property. I don't know about you, but you're only paying on it for 8 years. And that's a diminishing payment as rents continue to rise. Seems like a good deal. This is how real estate works, y'all. If you want to learn more about this, if you want to talk about how this might apply to you, whether a situation like this is worth the headache, or just want to learn more about real estate, reach out. Love to chat. I'm Chris Evans, stockbroker turned real estate broker. I hope you have a great day and might consider using a quadruplex as your first owner-occupant purchase. Have a great day, y'all.